Hello, this is Amos, Tarfa, Director of Lifestem Academy. I just want to give a few words of encouragement to young people, especially during this season as we talk about Christmas and New Year, talking about the end of the year. I want to give you some insight that could be helpful when it comes to mental health during this season. If you want to flourish with just in life and in this season, I want to highly encourage you to do a couple of things. So I'll give you a few things to keep in mind. And then we can maybe have more discussion on this later. So first of all, in order to flourish in this day and age that you live in, it makes sense to look at how people have flourished throughout time and history, and then look for the things that could be a hindrance to helping you flourish. So let's take an example. Number one, relationships with other people. So if you want to flourish in life, it is important that you cultivate good relationships with others. And part of cultivating good relationships with others is making time to make sure that you are, having face-to-face interactions, that you're encouraging other people as they encourage you, that you're having conversations, you're going back and forth. That skill is so important. But things like smartphones can limit some of that. Now, I understand you're watching this probably on a smartphone or computer, but the thing to keep in mind is that you need to have times that are designated for use of devices or things like that, and then spend quality time also having in-person interaction with others. This is one skill that will really help the mental health of our generation, the mental health of the youth now, or the youth of this generation, is making time to put away the phones, to put away the computers, and to have face-to-face interactions. Maybe it's playing board games, or if you are watching something, maybe you guys are watching it together and having conversations about what does that mean. Maybe you watch a news segment. What does that mean? Have a conversation about it. So I would encourage young people to make sure they cultivate good relationships. That's one of the first steps for having mental wellness during this season. Number two, remember that your happiness is does not hang on toys or gifts or things that you might receive this season. Don't make that be the basis for why you are thriving or excited about life. Now, there's nothing wrong with the person receiving a gift, but if they make that the point of their lives, and maybe they don't get the gift they wanted, or it's a different edition or an old version, now they might be sad. Let's be very careful not to allow materialism, the idea of materialism, to dictate how we live our lives. Instead, again, let's flourish and cherish relationships. So, young people, be respectful to your elders, be grateful for whatever you are given, and do not have an entitlement attitude towards those who have given you the things you've received. Okay, so number one, relationships, cherish them, cultivate them. That's what really matters. Number two, make sure that you are grateful for whatever you receive. Now, when I talk about relationships, there's our relationship with one another, and there's our relationship with God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one that has given us the breath that we breathe. The Bible says, remember your creator in the days of your youth. So you need to remember, first and foremost, that God is the one that has given you life. So make sure that you keep that in perspective, that your life is a gift. It's the greatest opportunity, just being alive. You're not doing it. Like, you're not the reason that you're alive. You are alive because God has given you breath. So remember him. Remember his word. Read the Bible. I want to encourage you, if you don't know what to read these days, maybe just read through the New Testament, because you're going to have a lot of downtime during Christmas break, right? When there's no homework. Why don't you use some of that time to actually read and learn more and invest in good books and reading the Bible, reading through the New Testament maybe, rather than just scrolling for hours on end, because that would actually not help your mental health. So cherish relationships with people, and relationship with God. Number two, you need to make sure that you are seeking to, what was my second one now? I missed my steps there. So one was relationships, two will come by, gratitude, sorry, that's what it was, gratitude. Number three, smartphones, smart devices, how should you relate to them? Well, the research is pretty clear. Anything above 2 hours a day is just too much. Anything above 2 hours a day, sitting there on your phone, scrolling for over 2 hours a day, that's just too much for young people. So please, I want to encourage you, get a book, have it with you. When you have a few minutes here and a few minutes there and you're waiting for someone, read the book instead. And you don't have to use the 2 hours either. Like when you have your phone, ask yourself the question, what am I trying to do with this phone right now? Oh, I want to check a status on this. Okay, you've checked the status. Now we're done, right? Ideally, you really want to be spending as much time as you can reading, spending time with other people, maybe playing a sport, exercising. Those are things you should do. So that leads me to number 4. So number 3, be careful with your smart devices. Number 4, exercise and stay in shape physically. And it will help you mentally also to flourish. Those are some things that come to mind when I think about flourishing during these days that we're in December. Make sure that you are feeding your mind with good books and good ideas of how life should function. Because honestly, bad ideas can actually lead to people's mental challenges, right? Here's what I mean. Imagine if you're reading books that tell you that your life doesn't matter, or you're reading books that are just written by, some Marxist professor out in America that is confusing you. That won't help your matter, right? So what you want to do is read good books that can help you learn how to live. Read about people's stories and how they handled difficult situations and how they persevered. Of course, read the Bible. Read and get caught up in all your classes in school. That would also help you to flourish mentally. You don't want to be carrying around the pain and the struggle of, I'm behind in all these subjects. Well, you could use the time to do that. You could use the break that you have, or while other classes have slowed down for a season, you just catch up and then stay caught up using good study habits, which we discuss on my channel from time to time. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have other ways, parents, if you wanted to share too, some other ways that you found to flourish mentally with mental well-being, you could do that as well. But we need to help our young people to walk on the right track. We need to teach them how to walk in the days that they're living in. There's so many young people walking around without any vision, confused, and some of them are yearning and asking, help me, give me direction. Let's give them direction. Let's encourage them on how they ought to walk. There's a lot more that could be said, but I just wanted to launch us into this season of thinking of ways to flourish mentally. To all the parents and students out there, all the best, and we'll be in touch with our series, Mental Wellbeing. Take care and God bless.